Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about the breaking news that has been rumored for a few weeks now. I didn't want to make a video about it because I didn't want to jump the gun and be wrong, but as it turns out, it is totally 100% true. It kind of leaked, and then Ubisoft put this out later on in the day. Giancarlo Esposito will be playing the villain in Far Cry 6. It is officially announced. Far Cry 6 is coming, and the main villain of the game will be played by Giancarlo Esposito, aka Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, aka Moff Gideon. Giancarlo Esposito is quickly become one of the best actors in the game. Like, ever since his Breaking Bad has done a lot of good work for a lot of people. But I'd probably say, like, other than maybe Aaron Paul, because Bryan Cranston hasn't really done too much. You know, he's tried to do things, but it hasn't really worked out for him. Giancarlo Esposito has been the biggest benefactor of the Breaking Bad franchise. Because he played Gus Fring so cold and so calculating, and so you knew there was this it's like this simmering rage underneath, but at the same time he's cold, calculating man with his glasses. He's not a physically imposing man. You're not terrified that he's gonna, but you're just like, there's something about him that just puts you off, like the way there's something about him in the glasses, and there is just something about Giancarlo Esposito's Gus Fring that has just resonated. Gus Fring is such a great villain. It's one of the best villains in television history, and it's one of the most unique villains, the way that it's played. Like I said, like, he's not this physically imposing person. He gives off this vibe that he just, like, he's just cold, and like there's just this hollowness to him that, you know, you could live or die, like, that he will do whatever it takes to succeed, and that he's gone too far to turn back now. And his Moff Gideon, and when Giancarlo Esposito was cast as Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian, he brought a lot of those same qualities to it. Obviously, he was a bit more peppy, I would say, because, you know, he's worked for this. You know, he's an imperial, you know, he's a part of the Empire, so he's worked for this. But he still brings this kind of cold, calculating, you know, not really showing a lot of emotions, just kind of looking at you, just kind of like this thing to it that I think is going to make him such a unique villain for the Far Cry franchise. I'd say the Far Cry franchise has been kind of weird. Because 3 was amazing. 3 was fantastic. Far Cry 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I love 5, but 3 is amazing. I love 5 to death. I play 5 all the time, but 3 was amazing. And then, like, there was this middle patch where 4 is like a so-so game. Because I think they started it because, like, Voss was such a hit. Voss was such a major hit. Voss was to the Far Cry franchise with what Handsome Jack is to, like, the Borderlands franchise, in my opinion, because he was just such a major hit. He was just so freaking good. He was so entertaining. He was so charismatic. He was so interesting. You hated him, but you kind of loved him at the same time. Voss was just a fantastic villain, and played by Michael Mann. I think it's Mando. I think his name is Michael Mando, but I always get his name wrong. He played Scorpion. He was in Spider-Man Homecoming too. He might be playing Scorpion, but that's a side note. He was so good, and they kind of started to go, oh, people love, like, but they took the wrong lessons from that. They thought that he was good because he was psychotic, and that was it. He was psychotic and unpredictable. Because when they did Pagan Mim in 4, he was kind of like a hollow, shitty version of Voss. You know, less interesting, less, you know, realistic. It just kind of felt like some bullshit. You know, it kind of felt fake. It felt like crazy instead of crazy. You know what I mean? It felt like someone waving in front of you going crazy. And a difference between some guy sitting in the corner of the room staring at you, carving your name in his chest. You know, like there's a difference between the crazy. It's like crazy and that's what it felt like, the difference. And then, you know, it was kind of, like I said, I didn't particularly think, I think 4 was a misstep. Then they did like that weird one that was like a prehistoric days or some shit like that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Far Cry, was it Far Cry Primal? Yeah, Far Cry Primal, which, I didn't even play Far Cry Primal. I was just like, what's the point of playing Far Cry? I'm only playing Far Cry so I can use guns and shit and kill people with bows and arrows and modern day weapons. But now everyone's using bows and arrows? Fuck that. So I didn't play Primal. And Far Cry 5 was a step in the right direction because they went for a different vibe. They went for a cult vibe. But it was still a psychotic thing. It was still in the realm of crazy. You know what I mean? But it was a different vibe. They went for a different thing. They went for a different location. They went for fucking, I think it was Minnesota or some shit. No, was it Wyoming? No, was it Minnesota? It was somewhere up there, man. They went for like American soil, and it was a totally big departure from the, lush lands and shit. It was a huge departure from the lush lands and things of that nature to just, American soil, and they played up on the Americano, and they kind of like played it up to a parody level, and just it was highly entertaining, and I loved Joseph Seed. He was interesting. He was interesting. That's the thing. I don't know. He wasn't as entertaining as Voss. He wasn't as entertaining and as lustrous as Voss, but he was interesting. You know what I mean? Like whenever he shows up, you knew he was there. And like I said, they went for a cult vibe. They went for a cult leader vibe, like this private militia kind of vibe. And it worked. I enjoyed the hell out of Far Cry 5. It's one of my favorite games of that year. It was in my top 5 games of that year. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. But casting Giancarlo Esposito basically says you're going for a more Hannibal Lecter direction. You're going for a cold, steady, cool hand Luke kind of direction. You're going for the guy who's the commanding officer who orders atrocities and just doesn't even, he's not smiling, he's not happy about it, he's not mad about it, just like it is what it is. Like, because that's kind of Giancarlo Esposito's best quality in his villainy roles, is that he can play it so cold that it's as if it doesn't actually matter to him. It is as if, you know what? It is what it is. If I gotta murder you, your children, and skin you alive, look, I had to do what I had to do. He doesn't get any pleasure from this. It's not like I say, that's the thing that's gonna make him so different. If that's the way they play him, they might make him play it differently, but, I'm just going off of the villainy roles I've seen him play. And the villainy roles I've seen him play, he's more cold, calculating, he's calm, he never really gets upset, he doesn't really get enjoyment out of doing these things that he's doing. He's just like, it is what it is, it's a daily routine. Like, he's so cold and detached. That's the word, detached. And it's so and it kind of gives off this vibe. And that's why I'm kind of excited. When I heard the rumor for it, I was very excited about this. Because I was like, it was going to be such a different vibe from all the other Far Cry villains. Not to mention, it looks like it's going to be taking place in either South America or Mexico. I can't really tell. I think it's going to be in some kind of European country. It's going to be, not in a European country. It's going to be in some kind of, I think it's going to be somewhere in like a South American country, like South America. I believe, but I don't know for sure because you really didn't get a good shot of it. But Giancarlo Esposito's ethnicity is pretty ambiguous enough that you can pretty much put him anywhere. And you can put him in Hades. You can say he's from America. You can say he's from Mexico. His ethnicity is so, ambiguous that you can kind of put him anywhere, which is really helps him too, especially with acting roles, I suppose, because they could just be like, hey, we need someone to play this and that, and he'd be like, I can do all that shit. But I am excited, man. I am excited about this. Far Cry is one of my favorite franchises. I didn't even love 4, but I still enjoyed playing 4. I enjoy the Far Cry because, Far Cry and me go back. Like I said, I've enjoyed them since 3. I tried to play 2. It did not work out. I tried to play 2 long time ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and I just couldn't do it, man. I was just like, this is fucking bastard, man. Like, this sucks. Like, because controls were clunky, and I don't want to get into it. 2 was just, it was a pain in the ass. But, I'm excited for this. Far Cry is one of my favorite franchises. I've always enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the first-person aspect of it. I've enjoyed the aspect of, this random love. I'm a fan of the unexpected character. Those movies where an empire is doing something and then just most unexpected random character just put a cog in the machine and now he's the, and I love shit like that. I love stuff like that. I love unexpected, random stories of that nature. I've always been a fan of that stuff, and Far Cry plays that aspect up completely. Sure, is it bullshit that some random guy, some random rich boy lands on an island and becomes a badass overnight? Yes, it's a little bullshit. Is it bullshit that some bitch-ass deputy just lands on the island? It's just some bitch-ass deputy walks in the middle of a fucking war zone and it suddenly becomes the most badass person on the in that entire region? Yes, probably. Is it a little bad? It's a little BS that, I mean, the only one that I could sort of understand is your character in 4, because there's a potential chance that your mom taught you some shit before you came over there, so it could make sense that he's capable of handling himself, because maybe his mom taught him some shit before he came over there, before, he went back over there to wherever the fuck that takes place. But the other two don't really quite make sense, but I do love the idea of the unexpected character of you don't know who you are until you have to survive and things of that nature, and I love that they kind of push that, and like I said, I have a blast with the Far Cry franchise, so I'm excited about this news. What do you think about Giancarlo Esposito playing the villain in Far Cry 6? We will be getting a trailer and more information on July 12th when Ubisoft does their whole fucking announcement, so in a couple days from now, so look out for that. Look out for me making talking about the trailer as well. I am excited. Thank you guys for watching the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.